Alright, welcome back, guys. So, I didn't, after I got off from playing Half-Life for a little bit, I kind of was like, well, what am I going to do now? And I had a Minecraft game I was running, a mod called Stone Block 2. So I got off of that and I decided I want to do some Kerbal Space Program. I've actually been playing this lately, and I had a pretty good attempt at landing on the moon, and I kind of wanted to do that again. So, I'll get into Kerbal Space Program for you guys. Alright, so basically, I love this game. Kerbal Space Program is, it's for computer, and it's basically a game that simulates mock-up space programs, for the most part. Now, not everything in the game is accurate. There are plenty of things that are meant to be funny, or sarcastic, or even futuristic. But for the most part, the understanding and the simulation around it is really interesting. And I think, as far as space is concerned, it simulates space pretty well, in my opinion. At least as far as what we know about space, for the most part. Now again, it's just a game, but still, I think it's kind of cool. So, yes. Alright, so, Kerbal Space Program. Okay, so I have a game where I've already been doing the science. I really want to start over. No, I don't know. What should I do? See, starting over means I'm going to have to at least do it, regardless of what I make my science levels at, the percentage at. No matter what, I'm going to have to work my way up to it. Alright, I think I should do that anyway. Now, I just want you guys to see what my other one is. It's the Bill Nye Science Space Program. Now, I have always I like to name my vehicles. I like to give them backstories, even be a little sarcastic myself. The game does allow for a good amount of creativity in all this. When you land on planets, or even your own, or anything like that at all, you can plant flags and leave messages. And career is difficult for me. Basically, you're managing everything, and I would say it's a lot more realistic. You are worried about how much you're spending on parts, especially if you're not getting those parts back. So, like, when you're doing multiple stages in a rocket, trying to get in orbiter or something, all that equipment that falls back to the planet, you want to get it, because that's money back to you. I guess that's something we never really thought about. But a lot of anytime we launch a rocket or a space shuttle or anything like that into space, those fuselages that disconnect and separate off of the main ship, or the main booster and everything, they're brought back to Earth and they're reused. They're refurbished and reused. I mean, they're checked for problems or difficulties. But alright, so no, I'm not doing the career. We're just doing science, and I want to increase the science 300. That's not that bad. You'll see. Because I don't want to be stuck on the lower grade vehicles for a long period of time. And that's really the hard part, is the first initial levels. Kerbal Space. Sorry, I'm just messing with some of the options so that if any of you are watching and you're chatting, I can read and follow along. When you're... There we go. Okay. Trying to pause it. No. Can I just get the chat and that's it? Bring the quality down to crap. Yeah. Okay. Alright. So, crew respawn. This is when they have been marked missing. I want to go 72 hours, 3 days. And if I have to hire new ones, then I will. Auto hire crew members before a flight? No. Indestructible facilities? No. Include stock vessels? No. Allow other launch sites? Yes. Re-entry heating? 100% yes. Resource abundance? Yes. And what this means is later, now I've never done this and I'm probably never going to do this because I don't feel that I have the capacity to figure out how the hell to do it, but you can land on a moving asteroid and then collect its resources and then bring it back to your home planet. Now, and you'll see in a game like this, you're like, what? But I'd like to earn experience. Level up immediately instead of on recovery? No. Allow negative funds or science? No. Part pressure limits? No. Part G-force limits? No. No. Signal for control? Plasma blackout? I know. It's all okay. Okay. Part upgrades? Resource transfer node, building impact damage multiplier. Okay, I don't think I need to mess around with any of the others. Now I would add some of these, but honestly that will just make everything 100 times more difficult. Okay. Testing 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, yeah. I was afraid that it wasn't reading. Okay, what are we gonna name it? Aldrin Space Center, I think. Aldrin, I think that's spelled correctly. Aldrin. I feel like I should look that up because I don't want to mess that up. Yeah, okay. Aldrin Space Center. Change our flag. No, we're not going to go with NASA. Orbs. Let's do these orbs. Orby, orby, orbs. No, maybe not. Let's do blorbs. Capsule. So when we start, we're going to start at our Space Center. Now to start off with, I don't have very much, but the point of the increase in science will help us get over the main things quicker, and at least I can explain some of the real basic stuff as we go along. Flight Director, your guide for this quick introduction. This is the Space Center. From here you can manage all aspects of the space program. Feel free to have a look around by holding the mouse button and moving the arrow keys. There you go. We can move this. And then left click when you're ready to head inside. You just click on a building and then you move to it. This tells us what planet we are and our solar system if we just keep scrolling out. And that's where the buck stops. Now there are mods that add to this. Eventually, you can go to multiple solar systems and things like that, but the time frame to even leave this solar system, even at high levels of this thousands of time, it still is going to take a long time. And that's the cool thing, is this game you can speed up time. See, actual days are going by. So during your flight, if I need to wait, I can just wait until I need to get to that specific time, and then I'm good. So, this is our research and development. This allows us to research different, kind of like a tree. You choose among throughout the tree. We'll just click on it, I guess. Okay, so right now I've got no science, and then these are my archives. It tells us where we've been, experiments we've done, situations, biomes, because each planet has different biomes also, and landing in a biome has different resources, just like Earth does. Earth has jungles and deserts, and those are different biomes. So, no different here. Yeah, you unlock with your space point, with your science, and you gain science by doing experiments on the planet, in the atmosphere, in space, on another planet, and so on and so forth. So we work our way up. Okay, so here is our astronaut complex. Here we hire new astronauts. These are the ones we currently have. I turned off the ability for all of them to have full stats, so now their stats actually matter, and these can have varying effects throughout your flights, which I think is really important. And their experience is also very important in all this. The more experienced of a pilot they are, then if a situation happens, they're more than likely to get everything under control. And their stupidity can only help things break sometimes. So, yeah. Oh boy, it's high stupidity for a pilot. You're gonna lucky with those two. Oh, Bill, you're too stupid, man. I gotta get rid of you. All right, so I think we're good for now with all that. Then we have a administrative building. May not seem like it's very exciting at first, but here's where all the strategic decisions are made. Facilities closed. The space hangar, the space plane hangar, allows you to build aircraft. Actual aircraft that stay on the planet, or may even take off on the planet and into the atmosphere, and out of the atmosphere into space, based on whether or not they have the proper equipment in thin air atmospheres. Because remember, that's why we don't fly from the crust of Earth into space in an airplane, is because once you get into space, you've got no air to push yourself against. So what is your mode of movement at this point? Because airplanes work on air. I mean, let me be more specific. A turbine sucks in air and then ejects it out the back, and that creates a thrust. And in a no air environment, it just wouldn't go anywhere. It would kind of cease to stop working because it's got no air to push it. So once you get out of the atmosphere, what do you do? What is your mode of moving throughout the space? And I mean, when it comes to rockets and things, well, I mean, their motivation is of the rocket fuel, or the other methods that they have done. Like, what was it's a small miniature nuclear explosion, and it's like shot after shot after shot after shot, and it just kind of layers up and layers up. It was really cool. I don't remember why they don't do it. Maybe vibration purposes or something. But rockets are predictable for the most part. I mean, given a few scenarios. So this game it's always been the same. As soon as you get in, you have to place a command module of some sort. In the future, this will become purely electronic, and you may or may not have a crew, which is kind of cool because you can eventually build satellites and probes and things like that to get information on planets that you're planning on going to. No differently than we send a probe into space now, or a satellite now. Satellite, pretty simple. We get it up, we get into an orbit, bam. And as long as that orbit path doesn't collide with another one, we're okay. So, the very first mission isn't really a mission. We're taking the pod, we're going to launch it, we're not going to put anything on it, we're going to eject our Kerbal. He's going to get some resources from the area, and he's going to board back, and then we're going to turn those really small, insignificant science points into a realistic rocket. And it may not get into orbit yet, but it'll be the first of a kind. All right, so crew report 4.5 science. That's nothing. I'm not gonna get much, but I don't need much. Okay, we detach. This is our astronaut. He's our Kerbal. That's the planet he lives on. It's called Kerbal. He has a Kerbal. Okay. So we can remove his helmet. Bloop. There we go. We can remove the neck ring. I mean, you're not going to do this on another planet, but we can take a report of the area he's currently in, get some science from it, equip the neck ring, equip the helmet. We can plant a flag, but we're not going to do that because, I mean, we're just still on the launch pad. We're going to run over to the grass, and we're going to get a little sample here. Oh boy. He can't really jump because he's wearing this heavy suit. You put on a spacesuit and then try to jump. Really. So take a little surface sample. Now this is, you know, our space center. We can walk around freely if we wanted to. Okay. We get 27 from that. Cool. Now we'll go back up. Now our backpack, this backpack here, also has RCS thrusters, which allow us to steer in space, but for now, I'm going to turn them off. Once we get into space and we get into a zero G gravity, where we don't have any gravitational forces pulling us down, once we get into that, then we can exit our vehicle and do some spacewalking. We're not going to do anything fantastic. I'm not very good at docking in space, but I would really like to beat the curve and do some. I think that would be, I got to learn it, maybe try to teach it. Alright, so we board back in, we got all our space, recover the vessel. Right. 38 science. And 1 XP, just for getting out and learning about. That's fine. There's nothing I can do here yet, so we're going to back out and we're going to go to research and development, and we're going to unlock some of the basic rocketry stuff so that we can get into space and get some basic samples in space. It may not last that long in space, may end up coming back to the planet because we don't have enough to sustain us in an orbit, but at least it'll be a start. So we're going to need rocketry, we're going to need engineering, and then that leaves us with 28. That's 20, 18, and 15. 18 and 15 is 28. No, it's 33. Yes. General rocketry. Do I have a parachute right now? I don't think I do. Oh no. Yeah, I do have one. Okay, I'm cool. So we'll go for the general rocketry first. Got my ear all up in my finger. My finger all up in my ear. There we go. Okay. Okay. So general rocketry now. It's itchy ear. Okay. So that gives us a thumper, some of these fuel engines, 2 fuel tanks, that's not very much, coupler, no payload, just some fins, electrical, communicator, probably not going to use it, mysterious goo, and the thermometer will need it, and a parachute. Alright, we don't have very much. We have enough to get out of the basic orbit though. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to get out of the planet's gravitational pull, but at some point we're going to land back down on the planet. So everything is going to be on the command module, okay? Now at the end of everything, I can't have any rockets left when I'm done. And the reason being is because all this adds more weight, and more weight adds more speed. So upon re-entry, I really don't want that much speed because that could cause me to burn up and explode. So the point is once I'm finished with all the fuel, I need to drop it and then proceed on with just an empty shell of a command module. But I also want all the science that I'm going to get off of it. So that means everything has to be attached to the command module. So my mysterious canisters of goo, we're going to place those on, well, you know what, parachute. Let's come back in, I need a parachute no matter what. Okay. I don't have heat shields, nothing, so this bottom shield, that's it. It should be able to handle it though, no problem. But again, got to be careful of my speed. Alright, let's just load these mysterious goos on there. Let's get 6 of them. And then I want a thermometer. Put that above the top. Just one. Because I can keep reading. Now, once I use these goo, that's kind of it. When I land, that's how it's going to land. There will be a later time we can use communicator rods compiled with storage for research, and that'll allow you to reuse nodules continuously, and that's really cool. But for now, once I use these, once I research them, see, it'll say deploy, it'll open up like this, and it'll give me some science for it. Now I can either transmit that science wirelessly with an antenna, or save it for when I get back to the planet, and then they will just review the physical evidence when they get here. So we'll name this. Let's go with Alpha 1. I like that. Yeah, pretty simple. Alpha 1. We're using Roman numerals here because when you name things, that's what you do. Until you start getting into the 30s and 40s, I guess. Alpha 1, basic. Trajectory, basic atmospheric command module. I feel like I'm spelling that wrong. I swear, as an adult, that's what I'm constantly asking myself. Did I spell that wrong? Yeah. Okay, we're good. Yeah, module. Basic atmospheric command module. Alright, so then afterwards we have our first coupler. And that means that everything is, this is done, okay? Once this coupler here breaks, all that's coming back to the planet is this module, these science nodes, and this parachute. That's it. You know what? I might add another thermometer because I'm pretty sure that's only going to give me a single reading for this, and then that's it. Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to build a rocketry, and depending on how we do this, depends on how far we can go. How many stages am I going to have? So, I mean, the command module is the last stage. That's the final stage. And the whole point to this is we want to lose weight, which will give us speed and thrust. We want to go one more, and I think the next rocket I'm gonna do like this. So in the first stage, these 5 will fire off. Now I'm not sure if this will share fuel with this, but I feel like at some point they do, but I don't remember. I don't know if I've actually got to have the fuel line for this, but I guess we'll see, huh? And then after this stage, this will break off, and we'll fire this engine. Then after this fuel is depleted, that will break off, and they'll fire the last engine, and then the last decoupler for re-entry. Now this last engine, I probably want to use just a little bit of it to slow myself down when I'm coming in for re-entry, because things are going to be hot. This is where they always say to you, you could either come straight into the planet and basically burn up and die, or you can skip off the planet. That's the re-entry. Now when you're coming in from the moon, yeah, you can do a skip off the planet like that, but when you're in low orbit, that's very unlikely because of the amount of fuel that it takes and the amount of planning it takes to get out of an orbit, because the planet just keeps pulling you towards it, and at the speed that you're going, you just keep shooting away from it. Alright, so most flights, whenever we start a flight, we want to set the SAS and the RCS. Now, I don't have any RCS, so it's not a big deal. And here we want to lift the throttle, and we're going to fire it up. Bam! And look, they do share that fuel. That's good. That's really good. So we're getting a lot of speed out of this. I do want to slow down. Not that going fast isn't a bad thing, but too fast can also cause heat, friction, vibration, cause my ship to wobble out of control. I don't want that. I do want to be faster than about 200 meters per second because I've got to break through the atmosphere. Believe it or not, once you start getting into the high atmospheres, if you are not properly prepared and properly speed poking through the atmosphere can bounce your ship if you're going too slow. And this happens a lot to me. It kind of sucks. So now we're getting up to about 15,000 meters here. So I am going to turn it. We're going to shoot to the east here. Honestly, I don't know the orientation of the planet, so I don't really know if I'm going east or west. We always look at America as being northwestern hemisphere, but is that really how it is? If you go to another country, do you think that they're at the bottom right, or the bottom left of the hemisphere? Do you think Spain is at the bottom, or do you think their maps are all of them at the top, and we're the ones at the bottom? Just saying, bro. Alright, so there we go. We have shot off stage 2, and we have our final rocket stage, but then our final command stage. So right now, this is our trajectory. It's not that high, and it's very short-lived, and that's okay. We don't want it to be that large. And while we're here, we're going to start doing some science. Now, this is not a scenario I would let my Kerbal out of the ship. Doing so would not only cause my ship to start spinning because of the change in weight, especially without no motors to really keep it stabilized, but also my Kerbal will start to fall away from the ship, and using a rocket thruster to get back to it just doesn't work. So I would just fall towards the planet. And while I have a parachute, I have a parachute. I think my Kerbal would survive that, but my ship would not. The ship would just go on without me. So we have gotten all the canisters here, and we've gotten 27 signs for each one. Ooh, 21 there. We get the one up top. We'll do the command module crew report. Can I hold on? Yep, see, I'm starting to spin. EVA report. Totally worth it. Get back in. Okay. Actually, I'd like to be in this direction anyway. I'm going to start falling towards the planet. And because of that, I'm going to pick up some speed here. So I'd like to slow down a little bit. See, now, right now, to keep me lined up, it's using radial dials on the inside of it, these gears that are spinning at high speed and they cause torque. That's what allows me to be able to move the module without any kind of RCS fuel or thrusters. This does, however, use electrical charge. So after a time period, that electrical charge starts to deplete. So thankfully, the engines themselves create electrical charge. Hydrogen engines, they do two things that are actually pretty miraculous. One of them is they continuously create an electrical charge. Obviously, like an engine, a car engine, an alternator, and things like that. They take some of that stored energy and they put it back into the battery. But in a spacecraft, works just a little differently. Maybe because for the most part you're flying a large battery. You're utilizing the solar and everything along with it, but I think we're going to drop this because of the weight. So right away, you see the weight? My speed came slowing down because of the weight drop. That might explode. We'll see. I'm going to deploy a parachute very soon. I mean, you wouldn't want to allow that kind of a free fall in real life. I can tell you that right now. That is kind of unrealistic. Now we're doing massive slowdown. There we go. And all this weight adds to the speed that I'm currently falling at too, so that's something to remember. I could get out and get a water sample, but I don't think that's necessary. I live on the planet. Alright, so we got a good amount of science for that. I bet like, what, 200 maybe? Oh, 115. That's not bad. Okay, so now we go back to research and development. Now we can start getting some of these higher tiered stuff. Oh, we want the Science Junior Lab, definitely. So let's go with, I don't think I need, okay, I do want that. I don't have enough for anything else. Not yet. But I will. Because we've got some more things, we're going to go back to space. We'll expand on what we know. We'll probably go further into space, much further. Not to a moon yet, but just out, you know, like a good million miles away from the planet, or a good million meters away from the planet. And we're going to leave everything on the top. Is there anything we've added? Yes.